Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about Fourth Wing. I'm going to talk about the book that I hated above all other books. Out of every book I've ever read in my entire life, I like this one the least. I will never understand why this book got so popular. This book just took off like a dragon flying into the sky. The plot of Fourth Wing is so forced and ridiculous. The main character, Violet, is forced into this brutal wing of the military by her control freak mother. Okay, Violet has no aspirations to join this military group. She's depicted as somebody who's very petite, very thin. She's like described as somebody who's like maybe 5'2", 5'3" feet tall. She's very skinny and she has a disease called EDS, a genetic disorder that affects cognitive tissue, which supports the skin, bones, blood, vessels, and other organs. Loose joints that are prone to dislocation and painful joints. Her mother is forcing her into the branch of the military where she has to fight guys as big as The Rock in hand-to-hand combat. If Natalie Portman had to fight The Rock in hand-to-hand combat, who do you think would win? Just based on their physical size. Who do you think would win? Is this a mystery who would win? What if Natalie, also on top of just being really small and petite and having no training whatsoever in any form of martial arts or fighting, what if she also had a horrible disease that gave her joint pain on top of being really, really tiny compared to The Rock? Who's going to win this fight? The training in this book is like true Divergent style training. There's no training. All they do is beat the shit out of each other. So the cadets all have daily duels. There's no weight class, so these petite girls are forced to fight these big guys in hand-to-hand combat. And that's all they do is beat the shit out of each other. How is beating the ever-loving shit out of each other training them to ride a dragon? How is going in for daily hand-to-hand combat gonna train you to ride a dragon? Maybe you should have the people get on a horse and try to ride the horse. And then maybe they could go to the winged creature after they had experienced maybe trying to ride the horse. But oh no, let's just have them beat the ever-loving shit out of each other day after day after day. This would be like, in our world, a 16-year-old going down to the DMV to get their license, and they don't have to prove that they have any skill to navigate the roads or operate the car. They just have to go in with one of their classmates and beat the ever-loving shit out of their classmate. And whoever wins the hand-to-hand boxing match gets their driver's license. Congratulations. And then every time one of the people win a fight, they get a dagger. They're rewarded, ooh, here's your dagger, you won. How is acquiring a bunch of daggers going to help you later on when you're a dragon rider fighting in a war? How are daggers going to help you as a soldier fighting on the back of a dragon? Maybe a long-range weapon like, I don't know, a bow and arrow would be better to shoot somebody at a distance. But no, they just acquire all these daggers. Why? What are you going to do? Are you going to like toss them at your opponents like snowballs? Just toss the dagger at your opponent from far away and try to hit someone? I'm sure the wind resistance from flying on the dragon is gonna, make your dagger tossing skills great. This freaking world makes no sense. So in this world, everybody at this military academy can kill anybody else. It's just really violent. They're all killing each other. From the moment, day one, they have to cross a bridge, that really skinny, narrow bridge. And a lot of people fall to their death across this bridge. Why are you just letting all these young people die? So Violet could fall to her death at any moment. Behind her, one of the other people who's trying to get into the school, his name is Jack, and he just decided that he hates Violet. Just hates her because she's small and thin and petite, and she must die because I hate small things. Probably has a small penis, and it's just his, taking out his rage on her. So she's trying to cross this thin, scary high bridge without falling to her death, without this guy killing her. So I will give Rebecca Yarros a little bit of credit here, okay? The stakes and the tension in this scene were actually good. Until Violet starts dumping exposition as she's crossing the bridge. And this is what Rebecca Yarros thought was the best time to put a huge exposition dump in her story. I'm going to read it to you so you can see how fucking long it is. And do not get mad at me if I mispronounce the names of these stupid fucking kingdoms. Okay, this book sucks and I don't give a shit what any of these places are called. So yeah, I can remember Mordor and Moria and Rivendell and Tatooine, Oz, Shiz University, Wonderland, Arrakis. I can remember how to pronounce locations from good stories that are worth remembering. So if I mispronounce this shit, I don't give a crap. Don't leave a comment. No one cares. The kingdom of Proemel mainly consists of arable plants and marshlands and is known for exceptional textiles, endless fields of grain, and unique crystalline gems capable of amplifying minor magics. In contrast, Navarre's mountain region offers an abundance of ore, hardy timber from our eastern province, and limited deer and elk. The trade agreement region, signed more than 200 years ago, ensures the exchange of meat and lumber from Navarre for cloth and agriculture within Proemel 4 times a year, and the Athrabine outpost on the border of Prola and Tirador.
This honestly does not matter. Nobody cares.
Tirador encompasses the southwest of the continent. I recite my steps even but panicked on the slick narrow path, my left foot slipping a little at the beginning of each step, made up of hostile mountainous terrain and bordered by the Emerald Sea to the west and the Arctic Ocean to the south. Tirador is nearly impenetrable, separated geographically by the cliffs of Draelar, a natural protective barrier. Another gust slams into me and my foot slips on the parapet. Rebecca Yarros, do you actually think that your readers are remembering any of this? Do you actually think that your readers are going to read this exposition dump and actually retain this knowledge? Really? You really think they're going to remember? No, nobody's going to remember. I read this like I was editing the book. Like, cut this out, skipping over this, don't give a shit, no one gives a shit, nobody cares. Nobody cares, Rebecca. Can you imagine someone in a horror movie that takes place in our world doing this? Can you imagine someone being chased by some psycho with a knife or an axe, like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees, and they're just like running from the killer, and they're like, the United States of America is almost 3,000 miles, coast to coast, and it's 4 major time zones, Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. Canada is to the north, it's cold and frosty up there, Mexico is to the south. Are you fucking kidding me, Rebecca Yarros? You have a goddamn map at the beginning of the book. So if any of your readers are curious about the geography, they can just flip there. If you want to establish any sort of interesting narrative with any of these places, have a character from one of these fucking regions show up and say or do something interesting that affects the fucking story. That's how you get people to remember the different regions of the world and the people who live in all the regions and how they differ. Release this information slowly through the book. You don't have to dump it out like you have diarrhea in the first few pages of the story. So they cross the parapet, and the ones that actually lived get to the other side, and then they're like, oh, well, now that you've crossed the parapet, you can see the dragons, and then dragons come, and then they let the dragons kill a bunch of them. Just kill them. But they just murdered random students. Why? So stupid. You're just going to let all these young people die? This makes absolutely no sense in this world, because in this world, it is established that they are at war with another country. They've been at war for a long time. They desperately need soldiers, yet they're letting everybody who's willing to sign up for military training just die. This world building does not make any sense. If they were in a situation where there was an overpopulation problem and people were fighting tooth and nail for food and other resources, and this society had become like a survival of the fittest situation, that we're only going to let the strongest and healthiest and smartest people live and then, marry and then breed other strong, healthy children, fine. This level of violence of characters dying all the time could be believable. But it is set up that they are at war, they are desperately in need of soldiers, and so they have these military training academies where they just let everyone die. How are you going to win your war if all of your soldiers die before they even step foot on the battlefield? How? Oh my god. Rebecca Yarros, I've thought more about your world building than you have. This plot hole is like the size of the Grand Canyon. So from the first few pages, it is obvious that Violet, the main character, has no interest in being a dragon rider. She's being forced into this by her control freak mother. Violet has been training to be a scribe her whole life. And then her mother just makes a decision, no, you're going to the dragon riding school. So because she's not depicted as having this personal drive to stay in this branch of the military, it does not make any sense when in a couple of chapters in, somebody offers her an out. We can get you into the scribes so you don't have to be here in this military dragon riding school where everyone's dying left and right and all these people are trying to kill you. You can get out of this. And Violet stays in the dragon riding school. She does not go to the scribes. This is the most forced, ridiculous plot. Anybody in the situation who was forced into a situation they didn't want to be in and had no personal stakes in the game and could die in this situation, anybody in their right mind would get the hell out of this. But Violet stays. Why? Because the plot needs her to stay. When you're writing, you want your character's actions to drive the plot. You do not want the plot to force your character's actions into something stupid and unbelievable and ridiculous, into a choice that no rational human being or any mythological creature in any world would make. And then, of course, the love interest is this big, brooding, tall, dark, and handsome, scary, but dangerous, but sexy, but dangerous guy. This is a cookie-cutter romantic lead. All guys in romance novels, especially romantasy novels, look like this. Tall, dark, handsome. Tall, dark, and handsome. That's what everyone wants. It works. It's great when it works. I'm not saying people should not make their characters look like that. I'm just saying there's nothing unique or interesting about this romantic lead. This type of male lead exists in thousands of romance novels and many, many romantasy novels, okay? But many of these novels have this same type of male lead, but they actually have good world building and good character development and good plots. So why the hell does everyone want to read this book? Xander Zalfmalamule. What the hell was this guy's name? Xaden with an X. Okay. Violet has to duel him, so he uses his physical strength to, humiliate her in front of all of her classmates so he can win this duel. He pins her down and takes all of her daggers that she's won, pulls all of her daggers out of her sheaths and starts throwing them around, and he's on top of her and he's being horrible to her and bullying her in this duel, and he knows she can't win because she's so tiny, and he's using his physical strength to intimidate, but it's hot. It's really hot. It's abusive but hot. But really hot, but a little rapey but hot. He takes one of her daggers and slides it back into the sheath. Okay, yeah, I get we all get the symbolism. I could be raping you for real right now, but I won't. I'll just slide the dagger back into the sheath in this penetrable symbolic motion. So I'm not actually sexually assaulting you. I'm just making you feel like shit and overpowering you and just, ugh. I'm sorry, but I don't find angry, abusive men attractive or sexy. Sorry. So then Rebecca Yarros has them taking classes. And during the classes, the instructor's like, and then this and this and this happened, but we don't know the answer. So you take the beginning when Violet might die in this tense situation to drop exposition, and then you have a class, but you don't put any exposition into your class. You just use the class to build mystery. Did you guys ever see, I think it was Superbad, the last day of high school?
What are you making? I'm just drilling holes. Last 2 weeks. Fuck it.
My senior year is ending. All the grades are in. Fuck it. I'm drilling holes. Nobody in a situation where they could be killed off at any second would be going to classes and taking notes and paying attention and studying for tests. They'd be I could be dead tomorrow. Fuck this. So for a while on, book talk, TikTok. What is that? The seconds of your life disappearing as you waste time on this app. TikTok. This book got really big on TikTok. Everyone on TikTok loved it. And then everyone on YouTube hated it. This is why I'm on YouTube instead of TikTok. I have watched so many bad reviews of this book on YouTube. Some people in the comments of some YouTube reviews have said, I'm a professional editor, and let me tell you what's wrong with this book, and then wrote a very lengthy review. I do not understand how you get this book to print without editing it and then put huge detailed maps in it and a slip jacket cover in gold, and then you pray all the pages on the side to make it look old, and then I've never seen this before, lists of TikTok comments in the front selling the book that you've already bought. I wish I could erase this book from my head just so I can experience reading it for the first time. Yeah, I wish I could erase this book from my head too. I don't understand how you do all this work to polish the cover and hype it up and then not have an editor go over the actual story. Something about this book's success seems suspicious to me, or sus, as the younger generation would say. Okay, something about it seems suspicious. All right, let's compare it to another book series, the Court of Thorn and Rose series by Sarah J. Maas. If we go to the Goodreads review for The Court of Silver Flames, which is book 4 in the series, with each additional book to a series, usually readers sort of teeter off. Like when you get to the 4th book, you know that it's really devoted fans who are continuing the series and continuing to read the book, okay? The first book, people pick it up and try it, and some people love it, some people don't, but the people who really love your characters and your stories stick with it through the series. So by the time you get to the 4th book, you know the people who are reading it are really devoted fans. Really devoted fans tend to go on Goodreads and leave stellar reviews because they're so in love with the series and they want another one and they want more from the writer. Fourth Wing, first book in the series. Chris, there is no first wing or second wing or third wing. I know it's a branch of the military and it doesn't mean it's the 4th one. Okay, I know. Don't leave a stupid comment. But Fourth Wing, the first book, has 4.57 rating on Goodreads. The 4th book in the Court of Thorn and Roses series has a 4.74. This book has a higher rating than the 4th book in the Court of Thorns and Roses on Goodreads. That means more first-time readers read this book and got excited and went on to review the first book than the many, many fanatical fans of Sarah J. Maas that read all the way to the 4th book. Something about this seem a little odd to you too? The publishing industry sometimes does shady things. For example, dagger books. Some books are flagged with a dagger on the bestseller lists, indicating that a significant number of bulk orders have been received. What some people will do in order to hype up their own book is go on and buy their own book in bulk to get the sales up. That's a dagger book. Not saying that this book was a dagger book because a lot of bookstores were sold out, YouTubers were complaining, but it wasn't available at my bookstore. It was sold out. I had to get it on Amazon. I love how when people win in this world, they acquire daggers. I'm not saying it's a dagger book. I'm not saying it's a dagger book. That's just a very funny coincidence. But something about the insta-mania and success for this book does not seem natural or organic. I don't know what it is. If you have any information about this, leave it in the comments, because I cannot for the life of me figure out how or why this book became so successful. Is there some use for this piece of shit? Maybe I could use it for a doorstop. What if I put it here on this end for a bookstop? This book is fucking useless. Alright, so I hope you guys are liking the book reviews. They're so much easier to do than the film and TV reviews. There's no clips to edit. I can get these out so much faster and I can get content up onto the channel. And I'm going to have Adam do a couple of these too with books that he's read. All right, thank you so much. Please subscribe. More to come.